Welcome back to Sunrise. Well, it has been said that black history has been told by others and not by ourselves. Well, A.J. Nicholson has made this the cornerstone of his book, The Roadblock: Jamaica's Resistance to the Caribbean Court of Justice. The book is very timely as Jamaicans are now more aware than ever about the Caribbean Court of Justice and the cause for us to accede to its appellate jurisdiction. What most of us don't know, however, are the details of the journey that has taken us here. It's important, the story, and who better to tell it than author, attorney at law, and former Attorney General of Jamaica, A.J. Nicholson. He joins us on Sunrise to discuss.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, how are you doing?
Oh, give thanks. Beautiful morning.
Yeah, beautiful. And looking strong and very vibrant.
Yes.
I love your orange shirt.
Well, I mean, it's for you.
Thank you so much.
Sir,
Oh,
you know,
bless you.
when I saw that you wrote this book, I saw it on social media, and I thought, thank you, because I feel that elder statesmen have a responsibility to share their knowledge, and you definitely have a few books in you. And so when I saw you produce this piece, I said, thank you, because we need that knowledge that you have in your mind. At what point did you say, no, I have to write this book?
You know, I think you're right. 10, 15, 50 years' time, persons are going to wonder, why is it that Jamaica has allowed some opportunity to pass them by? The fact is that right now in Jamaica, as it has been for many years, the vast majority of our people don't have what is called access or opportunity to go to their final court. Now, in a fair society, that shouldn't be. In a mature society, that should not be. Only a tiny fraction of our people, because of our economy is structured.
Yes.
Only a few persons in Jamaica really have the opportunity, the access to go to the final court. Why? Because the court is in England.
Yes.
Costly.
And the British, they had over the years a number of colonies which became independent.
Yes.
Over 50 of them. And over 40 have moved away from their final court, which was in England, which is called the Privy Council.
Yes.
Now, the Privy Council has done good work for us. But the truth is, not many of us can go to that court. Therefore, if you don't have access, you don't have a chance. And access in our case means economically available. You can afford it.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yes.
Right.
You can afford it.
And sir,
Not
AJ
many of us can afford it.
And sir, even those who can afford it, there is not a must then is that you will get the visa to go, right? So that's also another barrier. It's a roadblock,
yes.
right? Which also adds to the prejudice, which also adds to not fairness in terms of justice and due process. Because even if I can afford it, you go to apply at the embassy, and it's not a must that you get the visa. Then you have to also now hire barristers in the UK to argue your case. Again, going back to what Sir AJ is saying about the economy of it, how many persons can afford to have UK barristers argue their matter?
The odd thing about it is this, you know, you bring up this issue of the visa. Coincidentally and sadly, Jamaica is the only country on earth, only country on the planet, that the people, the inhabitants, have to get a visa to go to the country in which their final court is. It's the first time it has ever happened. There is no other country, like even in the Caribbean, that you have to have a visa to go to England, even if your final court is there. For example, Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, they still have to go to the Privy Council, like Jamaica, for their final court, but they don't have to get a visa. So what you have brought up there is, it is so very important. It adds to the roadblock.
Yes.
So then tell me, because I am not young, but I'm young relatively within the context of the conversation. And I sometimes, in recent months of this debate, have said, but I remember us discussing this 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I remember this coming up when I was in high school and we were debating about it.
Yes.
For you, talk to us about the process and the roadblocks over the years.
And why we can't clear them.
Coincidentally, in 1970, before you were born, our government, at that time, the Prime Minister was Hugh Lawson Shearer. He was the Prime Minister. And it was under his administration that it was decided that Jamaica should become a part of this regional court, which had been projected even before then. Throughout the years, both sides of the political spectrum, both sides, everybody agreed that that should be the case. Sadly, at the beginning of this century, the leader of the Jamaica Labour Party then, the Most Honourable Edward Seaga, I don't know what happened, but it is unexplained, but he decided that his party would not support it, which to me really is a pity, because it is really inevitable. And he set up a stumbling block and suggested, well, more than suggested, projected that we should have a referendum for this to take place. Now, no country that has moved away from the Privy Council to establish their own court has ever moved through a referendum. Why? A referendum really is a political exercise. And you should not really expose your judiciary, your judicial structure, to. It's a vulnerable structure.
But what about people who say you're proposing a major change to the constitutional infrastructure, so it should go to a referendum?
Ah, well, you see, you should go the way that your constitution says that it should be done. You should not go against your constitution. And it was asked of the Privy Council itself, what is the way, what is the route that you're supposed to take to go there? And they told us the route is that you should have a 2/3 majority vote in each house of Parliament. No referendum, nothing else. That is the way to go. And when you start to move away from what your constitution says, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yes. So let me just ask you, Sir AJ. So this book now, where can we get it to buy, and who really should be reading this book?
Well, every Jamaican with respect should read this book because it has to do with you and me.
Yes.
Right?
So it's not just law school students, though.
Indeed. But you can well imagine that students, lawyers, for example, they would be far more interested in the book than other persons. But because it's a part of our history, a part of our culture, you should get it. You get it through Amazon.
Yes.
You will get it in Jamaica very soon.
Very well.
No problem. But then the important thing is that we should read it, understand what it is saying,
Yes.
and discuss it.
Is it a difficult read, or is it written in
So
lawyer
the
speak?
common man, yes, legalese.
I would, with the greatest of respect, I would never do that.
Yes.
It is really an easy read.
Okay, good.
It is not legalese.
Yes.
With respect, I would never do that. If I was going to do that, I would make
You would
it.
write a law textbook.
Indeed.
Yes.
But no, it is an everyday read.
Yes. Okay.
And it is understandable.
Yes. What I like about it is the fact that the average Jamaican can understand it and don't just understand about the CCJ versus the Privy Council and the route and why just from having a bar talk, but have it from somebody who is experienced, who has the experience and knowledge, so we're getting it from an authoritative source. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean?
I'm a countryman, you know. So I have to write it in a way that everybody would understand. You know, look, this business of the final court, it stands on two anchors. One, there has to be a final court.
Yes.
And two, you have to have access. I'll give you an example. This is a Christian country, right? And when you were growing up, you used to go to Sunday school.
Yes.
You remember that story about this mother who had a problem with her child? They had stolen her child, and one woman was saying, it's my baby, and the other was saying, no. Finally went to the final court, which was Solomon's court.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
and
true.
Solomon, in his court, he decided that it should go that way. Now, if that woman didn't have the opportunity, the access to that court, it would have been problems.
Yes.
So access
is important.
is the key.
Well, thank you for giving us the access, Sir AJ. We sincerely appreciate it. And we're definitely going to be getting the book. And we're encouraging you to do the same. Roadblock.
Respect.
Yes.
A change is going to come.
We're on the cusp of the change.
Cook.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Our guest, AJ Nicholson, author, attorney at law, former AG of Jamaica. Looks like we are sticking to the lawful side of things because Law and Order JA is up on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Do you connect?